Hey there, and welcome to part 2 of the Jumper Virtual Lab video tutorial. In this section, I'm going to walk through how to connect the debugger to your virtual lab. Using the virtual lab has some great advantages over debugging the actual device. One advantage is that it's easy to set up and orchestrate all the inputs and variables that go into your virtual device. The timing of the inputs will always be the same at no additional cost. Another advantage is clock syncing. As opposed to the actual device, when you hit a breakpoint in the virtual lab, all the clocks will stop. RTC, timers, CPU, everything. So how do we get it done? Let's start with Blinky again. I'm going to head over to the Blinky folder on my computer, and I'm going to hit Make in the ARM GCC environment. Remember, I'm using the NRF52 by Nordic, the Blinky example, and I'm using the ARM GCC toolchain. Now that I hit Make, I can do jumper, run, --GPIO, -B for the binary location. And this is going to run a virtual lab with a virtual device on it that runs the Blinky application, and I can see the GPIO prints. I'm going to stop that, and now I'm going to add -G to the execution. This will do the same, but it will open up a GDB server on my virtual device, and it will wait for a GDB client to connect to it before continuing. Now let's head over to Eclipse. We are using Eclipse for this sample, but you can use other types of debuggers. Just head over to our documentation page and you'll be able to find more debuggers and more details on how to connect to it. In this Eclipse workspace, I already have the Blinky sample imported into my workspace right here. And I'm going to hit this button right here. I'm going to open up the debug configuration and choose GDB Segger Chainlink Debugging. Double click that, copy paste the project name, and now I need to choose the application file. It's basically where the debug symbols are located at. It's going to be an .out file or a .elf file, depending on your debug configurations and your project. And now I'm going to head over to the debugger tab. The first thing we need to do is to uncheck the Start Chainlink GDB Server Locally checkbox. We're doing that because we already started a GDB server on our virtual lab. Next, we need to pay attention to this executable right here and the one right beneath that. We're using the ARM GCC GDB debugger. You can use whatever GDB client you want to, but just make sure that you have the right executable path right here. Last thing, we need to change this port right here, the GDB port number, to 5555. We can hit apply and debug. And voila, a debugger is connected and we just got a breakpoint on our main function. Cool. So this is your GDB debugger right here. You can step into functions, step over functions, you can place breakpoints, run to these breakpoints. You have your variables tab. You can see registers, full registers of the CPU. You can check out the memory browser and add interesting locations in the memory that you want to view. And you basically have a full-fledged debugger with the advantages that we discussed before. We're going to outline more of these advantages in the next chapters. Thank you.